Dawn's first light crept over the healing hut, casting a warm glow on the rows of herbs and the simple workbench where Wynn Thornwood spent most of her days. The air was crisp, filled with the scent of dried flowers and the promise of a new day. Wynn stirred, her eyes opening to the familiar sight of her hut, the tools of her trade neatly arranged, ready for another day of tending to the villagers' ailments. She rose, her movements economical, and began her morning routine, the silence broken only by the gentle clinking of her mortars and pestles. As she worked, a sense of calm settled over her, a sense of purpose that came from knowing she was exactly where she was meant to be. But amidst the tranquility, a small, unassuming package waited on her workbench, its presence as unobtrusive as a shadow. The cover of the book bore her name, Wynn Thornwood, in fresh, dark ink. Outside, the forest was awakening, birds singing their morning songs, and a light breeze rustled the leaves, carrying the scent of blooming wildflowers into the hut. Wynn's hands paused, hovering over the book, as if unsure whether to open it or leave it be, the morning light dancing across its cover, beckoning her to uncover its secrets. The sun's rays caught the dust motes dancing in the air, and for a moment, everything seemed to hold its breath, awaiting her decision. Wynn's hands, so used to the feel of herbs and the balance of remedies, now held the book with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. As she opened it, the words within seemed to follow the rhythm of her work, the cadence of her healing rituals. The language was unfamiliar, yet it spoke directly to her, resonating with a part of her that understood the power of balance and harmony. She read on, the silence of the hut enveloping her, the only sound the soft rustle of the pages turning. The book became her focus, drawing her into its world, a world that seemed to mirror her own but was veiled in a mystery she couldn't quite grasp. Hours passed marked only by the movement of the sun and the occasional distant call of a bird, until the light began to fade, casting long shadows across her workbench. The fire crackled to life as Wynn lit it, the flames casting flickering shadows on the walls, as if the very spirits of the forest were gathering to listen to her read. The darkness outside seemed to press in, making the warmth and light of the hut a sanctuary, but Wynn's attention remained on the book, her heart beating in time with its secrets. The shadows danced, and the wind whispered secrets in the trees as the night deepened, drawing Wynn further into the book's embrace. Days blurred together, Wynn finding herself drawn back to the book again and again, its words rearranging themselves, revealing new truths and terrors. Tools would move on their own, the sound of scraping and grinding filling the hut, unaccompanied by any visible hand. Doors creaked shut in the stillness, and the air would grow cold, as if the very presence of the book had awakened a chill that seeped into the marrow of her bones. Wynn felt the pattern, the rhythm of the book seeping into her work, her remedies, her very thoughts. The world around her began to tighten, the silence between the sounds growing thicker, more oppressive. Each night, as the moon rose high in the sky, Wynn would read, the last light of the day casting eerie shadows on the walls of her hut. And with each passing night, the world seemed to lean in, closer, the shadows deepening, until she could feel the weight of the unknown pressing down upon her. The forest, once full of life and song, grew quieter, as if the trees themselves were watching, waiting for the outcome of Wynn's fascination with the book. The wind carried an unsettling melody, a harmony that seemed to come from the book, echoing through the hut and into the forest, a haunting reminder that the pattern was spreading, reaching beyond the confines of her small sanctuary. The darkness gathered, a palpable presence that watched and waited, its patience wearing thin. And in the moments of silence, Wynn could feel the presence of something else, a presence that was not quite there, yet seemed to be drawing closer, its nearness making her skin crawl. The fire crackled, and the shadows danced, as if trying to keep pace with the rhythm of the book, and Wynn's heart beat faster, her breath catching in her throat, as she read on, unable to look away from the horror that was unfolding before her. The healing hut, once a sanctuary of peace and healing, had begun to perform its own dark rituals, the rhythm of its work matching the cadence of the book. Wynn, lost in the pattern, had become a mere spectator, her hands moving of their own accord, mixing herbs in combinations that seemed to defy all logic and sense. The mortars cracked, the pastels scraped, and around her, the herbs she had once used to heal now lay scattered, as if discarded. In the midst of this chaos, Wynn's body lay still, her eyes open, her name fading from the cover of the book, the last page blank and warm to the touch, a stark contrast to the cold that had seeped into her bones. The fire had burned down to embers, casting a faint, flickering glow over the devastation. A presence unseen but felt seemed to be at work, its closeness to Wynn a palpable, unspoken horror. The sun rises again over the healing hut, now silent and still. Ada Amber Grove approaches, her feet carrying her towards the hut, drawn by a curiosity that cannot be sated. The door, slightly ajar, invites her in. As she steps across the threshold, the silence is palpable, heavy with anticipation, for in this moment, the cycle of the book, the pattern of dread, and the rhythm of the healing hut are about to claim a new soul. Ada's hand reaches out, hesitating, as if sensing the weight of what lies within,